So, in the Dialing Home series, we decided, let's break things up a little bit and dial home with dinner. So, or in this case, lunch. So we've got Joseph Mallozzi, Ivon Bartok, my man Kieran Dixon, who runs Stargate Command.co, and me. So, I'm here. Oh yeah, I do a podcast, don't I? So, welcome guys. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure.
Well, thanks for having us.
Joe was like, hey, you want free lunch? And I was like, I am in.
So what have we got here?
We got, I don't know, some sort of a mussel green dish. We got the cheese, we've got the duck brulee, and
Beet salad?
and something called gin popcorn, which I'm not totally on board, but maybe you'll...
Fun fact, you know who doesn't like beets?
Chris Judge. Chris Judge has I think a childhood phobia about beets. Apparently, he was at some party once and they served a plate of beets and he freaked out and left the room.
It's
Is
actually
that like a Rodney McKay with like citrus thing? So if you ever want to get him to do something, you just show him a beat and like...
Yeah, something like that, except it...
Except it was more violent.
Yeah.
Oh, so it was completely legit.
He
Yeah.
didn't like it, yeah. We were on a golf tournament, and that's when we figured it out. A golf trip. And we were in Vegas or something, and then somebody got a beet salad, and he got up and left.
Oh, jeez.
I mean, what?
I was going to say we should joke around with that, but
Yeah.
probably
Yeah. Don't bring beets. Yeah.
What possible... Like his aunt was like buried under like a ton of beets or something.
It can't be good.
Yeah.
You see like people like who are like afraid of olives. This is one girl on this one TV show that I watched years ago. She was afraid of olives because she remembered her granddad being buried, and she remembered olives in the sockets of his eyes.
Oh, man.
And so she grew up and she was mortally hysterical about olives. She would leave the room when one would show up.
But that was a TV show.
No, but it was one of those
Documentary
like,
show.
Oh,
television programs, yeah.
Huh.
Is there any food you're afraid of? I mean, there's foods that I haven't tried, but there's like...
Like mortal
No
terror?
fear.
No.
I was in, not afraid of, but refused to try. I normally try anything. I was in Korea recently, and they do that kind of, the squid.
It's
Where-
alive. Oh,
Live,
yeah.
And like you get the chopsticks and kind of curls around.
Yeah, that's not... I don't want any part of that. I don't want to be eating something that's still alive. No, kill it first, guys.
But Stargate had a lot of food in, over the course of its programming. The blue Jello for SG1, along with this pineapple that keeps showing up. So
That's Will Waring. Director Will Waring would always work a pineapple into every one of his episodes.
no matter what.
No matter what,
The
yeah.
commissary or not.
Yeah, you could,
But all the directors had a signatures. I mean, Peter
Big
Delaware.
Bench.
Yeah, and that was Martin
Woods was silent.
Yeah, and Peter Delaware would always try to get in the episode. He was actually his own signature, so you would see him walking through.
kind of a Hitchcock moment.
Yeah.
The demon comes.
My favorite food moment though is teal'c with the coffee.
Oh, in
Extremely.
with Dom DeLuise, that episode was Ergo.
Yeah.
teal'c?
Isn't that hot?
Extremely.
That's when is that when they have the like the heightened sense? of
That's why
taste?
he drinks it so much. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. That's so good. I love it. I love it. And when they go to the restaurant, there's a different episode, but when they have the
Enhanced
steaks.
strength.
enhanced strength and
Yeah.
they like order all the steaks.
Upgrades,
3
yeah.
steaks?
Upgrades.
Excuse me. That was for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the really time that we all see them, out on their own together. That was one of the things that I wish that we had seen more was SG1 out on their own. Season 7, full Lost City. It gives us a beat of that at Jack's house.
Yeah. Well, that's something that sort of I was cognizant of, just the fact that these people worked together, but they were friends outside of work. And I remember writing this one scene where they were talking about movie night, and kind of sort of suggested they get together for movie night.
So, we still doing movie night?
Yeah, why not?
Good. I've already picked something out.
Old school.
Starship Troopers.
Is it humorous?
Is it ever?
I remember the fans actually really reacted to that and really liked that. And you know, it's something I always say that when the fans tune in, it's like they're tuning in for, you know, to check in with like old friends or family. And that's what SG1 was, that's what SGA was, that's what the crew of the Destiny was.
How much would that sort of affect your writing? So if something sort of, you know, kind of
From the
really hit,
fans?
really hit with the fans, would you guys, because I remember there was definitely times where it's like you listen, but you can't let a fan dictate, because it can go in a million different directions. But there must have been times where you saw that really.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Or, yeah, we should try that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, you can't take dictation, but yeah, you note that fans certainly react to different things. I remember we did the the 200th episode, and Rob wrote the, you know, Jack and Sam getting married scene, and of course, you know, she steps up and he's like, Carter, you know, calling her Carter on their wedding night. And there's one scene where basically, I think at the beginning, he's like standing beside Michael or Daniel, and it's like, oh, you know, people would think we were getting married. Yeah, and that was kind of like a salute or shout out to like all the slashers, slash fans out there.
That episode, there's not a scene in that I didn't like. In some respects, because the one that's really been talked about a lot is the marionettes. But those smaller ones, like SG1 as kids, as teenagers.
You don't appreciate me, do you?
I think you're so totally awesome.
That's what I'm talking about.
I'm so sick of being treated like some sort of object to be worshipped. I'm a real person with real feelings.
You know, I don't think Mitchell likes me anymore.
I'm pregnant.
And that was funny. Just for an episode, that was so good.
It just looked like they were genuinely enjoying every single moment of it. And it was just, you know, it just felt really natural, and that kind of really came across on the screen, because it just looked like it was so much fun.
That had to have been a frenzy to shoot.
I was just going to say, that was a really, what I remember being there was that it was such a big episode. I mean, it shot it all over the place, but also just like completely new sort of sets and big, like, just set deck was big, bringing in like friends.
And the type, like we did Farscape, we did the Farscape takeoff, we did the Star Trek takeoff.
Can you reverse the polarity?
I'll do my best.
I'm giving it all I've got, Captain, but you're expecting a bloody miracle.
We were going to do a Gilligan's Island takeoff, but we didn't have time. I think that did they do like a Wizard of Oz?
We sure did. Yeah.
Takeoff.
Wizard of Oz.
There was just so much to cover in that episode, and I mean, I remember all the writers, we came up with like a good half dozen ideas each, and maybe one or two ended up making it to the screen. But it was one of the crazier episodes we did amongst many crazy episodes we did.
What was the craziest thing that didn't make it?
I was about to ask, what didn't make it that you really wanted to do?
And you sort of put me on the spot.
It was only 10 years ago.
That I really wanted to do. See, the thing is, the great thing about Stargate is you could pretty much do anything. I mean, each episode was almost like a mini movie. So you can do like a comic episode, or you can do kind of like the horror episode, or you can do kind of more the hard sci-fi episode. So there was never really a time where we were faced with a situation where we couldn't do what we wanted to do unless it was really scheduling. It was a scheduling issue. I remember I think it was like was it Last Stand? Summit and Last Stand.
My two favorites.
Where Carter ends up reuniting. Well, originally she was supposed to reunite with.
J.R. Bourne.
J.R. Bourne.
J.R. couldn't make the schedule.
Yeah, and I had sort of this imagine this entire scene where basically she would, they would have this kind of heartwarming reunion and kiss, and at the end he couldn't make it. All we had was the rubber symbiote, and I actually pitched it. I was like that, it would be actually really cool. And Brian was like, no, we're not going to do that. So,
but Courtney J. Stevens, you had just introduced him. Great actor, great character. You brought him back. So there was something, and to this day, Summit and Last Stand remain my two favorite episodes from SG1.
Huh.
You've got, and there's a very good reason, you've got 5 or 6 stories. The Tok'ra, Osiris, the real chemical that was earlier introduced in that season. Again and again, coming together and dovetailing into this huge arc that's really setting the stage for the feature film, because you're knocking our allies off, is what you're doing.
Yeah.
And it was just a rewarding 2 hours.
That's one of the things that I think back to Stargate. I remember Paul and I joined in season 4. We did a lot of one-off episodes like Wormhole Extreme, Wind of Opportunity, and Chain Reaction, and The Curse. Once the season was over, Paul came into my office and was like, if we get picked up for another season, I don't know how the hell we come up with stories. And ultimately we came to realize it became easier as time went on to come up with stories, just because there was so much mythology that you can draw back on. And like you said, like there were so many threads that you can pay off, and that was one of the great things about Stargate, is there was always stuff from the past that you could mine.
And I love that. That's one of the best things about Stargate, that mythology that's added in, if it's something that came in at season 2, is still affecting the timeline and the way that they behave and interact, 6 seasons later.
As amazing as that, but also it's about paying attention to that stuff, right? Like, let's do this. It's like either we've already done it, or, oh wait, can we do that? And so there was so much stuff that people had to pay attention to.
This was the issue whenever someone would come in as a freelancer and pitch the show. Either we'd already done it, we were about to do it, or Star Trek had already done it. It's sort of like, in fact, and it's something that came up all the time when we would pitch stories, ideas. Brad would be like, no, Star Trek already did it.
What's the green thing over there? I want to try that.
I don't know.
You want to be bold?
You can be
It's muscles, right?
It's muscles, but I certainly hope the muscles are not the green thing.
No. So like stopping production so I can.
Well, let's
just kind of.
I'll jump in the fray with you here.
All right.
If you wouldn't mind serving me.
No.
Oh, thank you.
I wouldn't. There's a piece of bread, but I don't know if you need the piece of bread.
That's good. I'm not that adventurous right now.
Better with bread.
Okay.
Yep.
I remember coming to set in season 10, and you guys were shooting 2 or 3 at this point. So we're still really early on. And we walked into because on Gate World, I didn't know what I was allowed to say and what I wasn't allowed to say, because we were a fan arm, but they had the whiteboard up for the Fourth Horseman. And it was the full break for 1 and 2. And it says Orlin on there. And I'm like, and Sean Patrick Flannery had not declined this yet. So me and Darren were looking at each other and we're like, Orlin's gonna come back, Orlin! And, one of the frustrating things about the continuity as moving forward is there were just some times where, like JR, you couldn't get who you wanted to get. Were there any others that you would really wanted to get back that you couldn't? Just for scheduling or whatever. The one that always got me was Anna Louise Plowman, because she was one of my favorites. And her story arc was resolved, but I always wanted to see her again.
She was great, but in fairness, she was a Brit with a
British.
She was British, and as we all know, British people inherently play evil so well.
I know. We had to go to that guy.
Yeah, and she was fantastic.
You know what's also evil? The shell that I'm chewing on from that.
Yeah, I got a bit of that.
Did
Yeah.
you? Oh, all right.
Yeah, I don't. What is it about British folks and just like being like go-to bad guys?
Well, you tell me.
I think it's Star Wars.
I mean,
all
I
the
like-
Imperials were British. I think that's where it comes from.
Yeah, and that was out of necessity, I guess, because they were filming in the UK.
Yeah, exactly.
Because North Americans love, accent is bad. That's the real
I think that's
answer.
part of it.
The real answer is the history of I think television and film. It's like if you're looking for the bad guy, it's the Russian,
It's
the
not us.
accent,
The
if
not
it's
us,
not us.
yeah.
That's all it is. And British people are evil. So that's
They're gonna be playing like an evil track every time I talk, every time the camera's on me.
True story. I do have my British citizenship.
Oh, you do?
Yeah,
Really?
so technically I'm allowed to say that. I don't think. Yeah.
Also evil.
What's that from? So,
My mother, born in Nottingham, grew up in England, and then came here. And then the thing about Britain, if your parents were British, so all you had to do was apply before you're 18, and then you get your citizenship.
got it.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm still looking for like a long lost Canadian relative somewhere who can hook me up with a Canadian passport.
Nice.
There were, going back to kind of what I mean, this is fascinating. Sorry.
Oh yeah. My bad.
What are we here for? Oh yeah.
No, you're good. You're good.